2011, my cousin introduced me to Minecraft. Minecraft is a video game where the purpose is to survive in a world of blocks, animals, and monsters. I liked it at first because it was open-ended and I could build out my own ideas, be creative, and do just about anything I wanted in the game. Initially, I played in single-player mode, but later I switched over to multiplayer. I got to enjoy Minecraft more when I played together with other people. To play together with other people, you either need to run your own multiplayer server from home, or you need to pay a hosting company to do it for you. So in early 2012, I tried to run my own multiplayer server from home, but because I had a slow computer and slow internet, it was just a slow server for everyone and not a great experience. So I ended up looking online for other servers that were run by other people. Sometimes I would log in together with my friends, and sometimes I would just play with total strangers. In August 2012, in my first year of high school, I came across a multiplayer server called CrystalCraft. There were over 40 people playing there, and I ended up liking it, and I played there for about a month. Then one day, the CrystalCraft owner logged on and shared that CrystalCraft would close in a few weeks because he was out of money to pay for the server bill. I was disappointed because I liked playing on CrystalCraft and being in the community. So I reached out to him, and I offered to help him run CrystalCraft as a co-owner and help make things sustainable. I suggested improvements to the starting point in ways that people could pay money for in-game perks to help cover the hosting bills and other costs. Eventually, he gave me full administrator access to the hosting service and the website, just about everything except the bank account. And I was okay with this because I just wanted to help CrystalCraft continue and to keep on running. So, about after a month, because of my ideas, people started buying things and donating to CrystalCraft. I worked hard to help CrystalCraft continue. I would come back from school and then log on and continue working on my plans together with a team of amazing volunteers. So after many months, things were going well. People were donating and buying things, but the owner was reluctant to take care of CrystalCraft. He took a long time to reply to my messages, and he would always turn down needed upgrades. He said we were still running out of money, which I knew wasn't true because the online store history for CrystalCraft was all public data. Everyone could see that money was coming in, so I wasn't the only one who was suspicious. But since he had given me his emails and passwords to log into accounts to help run CrystalCraft, I became curious if they would also work for his bank account. So I tried to log into his bank account that was used to receive money from the CrystalCraft online store, and it worked. From there, I saw that he was using most of the money on personal purchases or transferring it out to a different bank account. CrystalCraft was consistently neglected. So from there, I took matters into my own hands. I then went to the CrystalCraft website and made a public announcement where all players could see it. I told them to stop donating and stop buying things because the money was being misused. So the owner then came back and was very active, and he revoked my rights from the hosting company, so I couldn't manage the Minecraft server anymore. I ended up retaliating by removing his rights from the CrystalCraft website. We split ways then, and what we all knew as CrystalCraft ended. The hosting plan was canceled, and the Minecraft world we played in was forever lost. So, for a month after that original public post, he ended up launching a new website and tried to run a new Minecraft multiplayer server, but eventually it failed and he shut it down. In the meantime, some players who liked the way that I ran CrystalCraft reached out to me and offered to sponsor me to run my own multiplayer server. So I took their donations and I launched a new multiplayer server using the old CrystalCraft website. After some time, my new server was branded as CrystalCraft and launched with a team of 4 co-owners. After about a year, the team eventually winded down to being just me. And from there, things went much more smoothly with much less drama. I built up an active, friendly community made up of diverse people from all age groups and from many different countries around the world. I launched a new online store that people could buy ranks and packages on, and that helped pay for the hosting bills and the website costs. This would go on for almost 6 years. What also made the CrystalCraft community unique was that while new players would come and join too, most of our community were people who had played together for many years already. So in Minecraft, players would team up to build huge bases or go on big adventures to fight monsters and explore caves. But outside the game, they would also help each other with studying or even support each other through personal difficulties. Older folks would mentor and guide the younger players directly and indirectly as role models. Some people would launch video series on YouTube and had other players, or really friends, help out as being voice actors. Some of us would even go on to meet each other in person at conventions and gaming events. In a way, we became one big, widely distributed, and sometimes dysfunctional family during those years. But in early 2018, at this point, I was 2 years into college and my life was starting to change. I was taking on a heavier course load, and I was getting more involved with open source projects, and I was trying to have a social life. While I was always consistent with paying the bills and making sure that CrystalCraft ran smoothly, I wasn't able to engage and participate with the same energy and activeness that I had when I was in high school. I knew the time was right for me to move on, but I still wasn't ready to see it all end either. So I reached out to the team of amazing CrystalCraft volunteers who had all helped keep the server running for all those years. And I shared with them how I was feeling. And some of them decided to step up and help keep things running. And I would transition out. So in 2018, the CrystalCraft ownership transferred and I stopped running the day-to-day management of things. However, I still supported the community by managing and paying for the CrystalCraft website and a few other bills. But after a year, the same challenges emerged for the new team as well. They had sudden life changes, and it was difficult to give the time needed to run and maintain CrystalCraft. So they eventually closed CrystalCraft down too. Even later on, in late 2019, another volunteer from CrystalCraft reached out to me about launching a new Minecraft multiplayer server. I suggested using the CrystalCraft website and data. This time, I was able to support and mentor him and guide him on how to do things like system administration and how to run a Linux server. I guided him on launching the Minecraft multiplayer server, and then he took the reins and did it all on his own for almost a year. But again, as I had found and the first team had found, he had sudden life changes, and it was harder for him to keep things going. Not to mention, too, that there was a global pandemic that happened, which didn't happen to me or the first team either. But eventually, he closed CrystalCraft down, and this concluded the CrystalCraft legacy. However, during this time, I was still running the CrystalCraft website and the forums. But in February 22, I made a difficult decision to shut down the CrystalCraft website and the forums. The website was using old technology that was no longer updated, the forums were mostly dormant, and it became very expensive to run. I made one final announcement and I shut it down. But I still kept a private backup of the website database. So I like to think that maybe one day in 10 or 20 years, I'll have this moment of nostalgia come over me, and I'll decide to put the backup back online for everyone to see and for all the players who played on CrystalCraft to go back and look back on and share the nice memories of our shared past together.